Hello everybody, my name is Slaughter. That is short for Slaughter Slut. And the reason I have used that username for the last 14 years is because I am somewhat of a masochistic gamer. During my Minecraft playthroughs, I would usually play hardcore Minecraft, sometimes even with add-ons to make the game more difficult. I was a big fan of Better Than Wolves, and on RuneScape I have really grown fond of the Ultimate Iron Man game mode. So I've had this account that I've been working on for about 2 years now. It started as a Relica locked Iron Man, an Ultimate Iron Man, and I kind of gave up on the Relica locked idea because I just really fell in love with the entire Ultimate Iron Man game mode. So I just let myself free and kind of explored the game. And for the last 2 years, this account has been just kind of a side project, but recently I've started maining it because of some stuff that happened on my main that I'll get into. And I've really fallen in love with the account. And I've had this idea for a couple months now to document the journey, because I'm really proud of where I've come in a year. So I'll show you my stat page. When I first started this account, I didn't think there was any way I was going to get an Ultimate Iron Man to Prifddinas, but here we are. And it feels really good, and I really want to document all the progress that I've been making on this account. So I decided I'm going to start doing like little progress logs. Now, I work full-time. I don't really have a whole lot of time to edit or even really play and record. I kind of get like 3 or 4 hours a night, and that's kind of my thing. So I'm planning on basically doing like progress logs. Not really like super well edited. Like YouTube really feels like you gotta edit like Mr. Beast these days to keep up, and that's just not me. So this is gonna be kind of like a more raw, barely any editing, just kind of like chillscape videos, something to put on in the background, especially if you're interested in Ultimate Iron Man. Then perhaps this is the series for you. But there's no crazy snowflake restrictions. There's nothing insane about my account. It's just a regular Ultimate Iron Man. And I am somewhat of a masochist when it comes to brute forcing video game grinds. So I think I could potentially offer something unique that doesn't really exist in the YouTube scene. I think the closest thing I would compare it to is maybe episodes of Ultimate Iron Man Loki. UIM Loki has some terrific videos, but he clearly puts a lot of forethought into his videos, and I will not. I'm just going to log in, and my inventory is going to decide what I do that day. And yeah, so I want to spend this kind of first episode or update log, if you will, kind of going over like the history of my main account and this account. So I'm going to pull up the stats for my main here, and I'll pull up these stats. Now you might notice a few of these stats have surpassed some of my main. For the most part, my main is still definitely a lot more stacked out, especially in terms of boss KC. I've beaten every boss in the game at least once, except for these new Shellbane Griffins. Haven't bothered to touch sailing on my account, on my main. And that's because about 1.5 years ago on my main account, I lost 2 bill because somebody that I considered a friend, basically took advantage of that trust. And I was a dumbass. I was too trusting, too naive, and basically lost about 2 bill worth of gear. And I spent the last year playing on my main account trying to rebuild, but it just wasn't the same. And part of me just had this feeling where it's like, if I have to start over from scratch, why not do it in style? Why not do it in an Ultimate Iron Man? So that's what I've been doing. I've kind of abandoned my main account, and I've been playing on my Ultimate Iron Man, basically just using my main's bank to fund this one's membership. And I kind of want to go through and show you some of the progress in this episode that I've made. So very recently I made some big strides for the UIM. I recently got the Lumbridge Elite Diary, which was huge. It means I no longer need a Drawman staff. I recently got these spiked manacles that you see on my feet. So that was pretty cool. Just been hunting medium clues. This is the part that I'm a little depressed to show you. But I recently hit 1200 KC at the Corrupt Gauntlet with no enhanced seed. So, like every day that I've logged in the past 7 months, this play session is going to start the exact same way. I'm going to go to the Corrupt Gauntlet, get my 10 kills, and then go do some other stuff. I have tried brute forcing this boss. I think my personal best is 50 kills in a day. And to be quite honest with you, it is very draining. There are a lot of places I wouldn't have minded going dry, 2 or 3 times dry, like Black Mask for example, would have been a ton of great herb and seed drops. You can safe spot them for 0 supply cost. It would have been really chill. But I got spooned to Black Mask on 6kc, and instead we're going 3 times dry at Corrupt Gauntlet, which is kind of sad because all I get here is money and gems and arrows, and that's kind of like the main loot. And the money is nice, but I think I have more GP than I know what to do with on this account. I can't really make use of some of the max GP efficient methods that most main accounts can take advantage of. So even having, let me pull up Dude, Where's My Stuff? This is a UIM plugin that shows all your stuff. So right now I've got 88 mil, and that's actually closer to 98 mil because that's only showing what's in my coffers around the world. It's not showing my inventory because I'm in the Corrupt Gauntlet right now. But in my inventory I have about a 10 mil cash stack, so it's closer to 98 mil. Every time it breaks 100 mil, I go drop a few bolts or a few mil on unfinished broad bolts and do some fletching, because I can't ever see myself needing 100 mil on an Iron Man, especially in Ultimate. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe in the future I'll need to buy a bunch of blood runes and I can fill up the blood well or something, but I doubt it. Knowing my luck, I'm not going to see a mega rare anytime soon. So yeah, I'm kind of just trying to use that GP in the best way possible. And it is nice that I have a bunch of, if I show you my looting bag here, you can see I have a whole bunch, I think close to 30,000 noted gems, from sapphire to emeralds to rubies to diamonds, which again, that's cool. That's a lot of crafting XP. But I'm about 380 hours into this Corrupt Gauntlet grind, and actually probably more now. And there are way faster ways to craft. Like this is probably the least efficient way to get crafting supplies. In fact, I think you can get 99 in about 110 hours just doing glass blowing at Port Phasmatis. And that's even better now with Deep Fin Point. So, like, the gems are nice, but honestly not that nice. I wish I could find like some silver lining, like, well, at least, you know, blah blah blah, I got all this and all that, but no. Going dry here, it really sucks. It actually makes it really hard to log in every day. And that's part of why I want to do this progress log, is because I personally feel like I haven't made any progress on this account in about 6 months because I've just been stuck at the Corrupt Gauntlet. But when I stop and think about the other stuff I have achieved, you know, like finishing Lumpy Elites, finishing all the quests, I got 70 sailing within the first couple days. I was really proud of that. I think I was ranked 26 for a while for the first couple days there. So it felt really good. Never made it to the front page, mind you, but yeah, I managed to almost make it to front page sailing for a little bit. So that felt kind of cool. Like, there's some stuff that I have enjoyed, but for the most part, I really feel like this account has gone nowhere since about April, because I've just been stuck here. And that kind of feels bad, man. Like, it doesn't feel good. The whole point of RuneScape is, like, you make these little micro progressions and they add up, and then you get to see, you know, this account that used to have to walk everywhere and, you know, couldn't chop an oak tree and all this and all that is now taking on the hardest bosses with supplies that he made and all that. And so it's hard to feel that when you've been stuck in the same spot for like 7 months. So I want to start recording the progress so I can be reminded of the other progress that I am making on this account. So, you know, when I stop and break it down, there are a bunch of little micro progressions that I've made on my account, and I need to, like, be able to remind myself of that and feel proud. So I really want to start, like, documenting this journey, even if nobody watches it, and it's just something that I can look back on in a couple years and be really proud of how far this account has come. Because I really wish I had documented the first half. You know what I mean? Like, I'm 1880 now. I shouldn't say half. I'm a lot more than halfway to maxing. Or a lot less. I got a lot more hours, if you know what I mean. But I really wish I had recorded the entire journey up to getting to Prifddinas. Because it was really fun and, like, really strange. Like, I've played Iron Men before. I've played Group Iron Men before. I've played Hardcores before. And one thing I've always felt with an Iron Man is it just feels like a main account with more prep. To me, Ultimate Iron Man is the only Iron Man that actually offers a new approach to the game. You cannot play an Ultimate Iron Man the way you can play any other account. You can play an Iron Man like a main these days. In fact, I would argue that most people play Iron Man these days because A, it's a lot more rewarding, and like, you know, 2 or 3 years ago, seeing all these Iron Man with cool gear was like, it was so sick, and everybody wanted to be that guy, so everybody started being that guy, and now there's just stacked Iron Man everywhere with sick gear, and that's great, but to me, it takes away some of the merit when, like, you know, a couple years ago, it was like rare to see a stacked Iron Man, and now they're everywhere, and you can buy them for relatively cheap, actually. But Ultimate Iron Man is one of those game modes that seems to kind of have standed the test of time. Like, to me, only, I don't want to say the bravest, but I mean, yeah, like, to me, only the, like, most dedicated or bravest players will even attempt this game mode. And it forces you to approach the game in an entirely new way. Like, entirely new way. And I think I've always been interested in Ultimate Iron Man game mode, but I've always been a little scared. Because it's like, well, what if you wipe and you lose everything that you spent thousands of hours on, right? And then I got lured on my main account and lost everything that I spent thousands of hours on. And I kind of made me realize, like, no account is safe. If JJX decided to shut down their servers tomorrow, every account would get wiped. Every account would lose everything. And that is an entirely real possibility. So it kind of getting, like, all my stuff stolen basically made me realize that, like, nothing is permanent in this game. Truly nothing. And so why not take the risk and do the account that, to me, is the most impressive and the most, like, prestigious, if you will. And I'm sure people would disagree with that, but to me, Ultimate Iron Man is just, it's the only real Iron Man game mode. In 2025. I think 4 or 5 years ago, you know, maxing an Iron Man was really impressive, but I think these days it's like the game caters to Iron Man. Like, most of the training methods and most of the bosses that have come out in the last 5 years have been to cater to early and mid-game Iron Men, and that's great because most people play Iron Man, but to me it takes away some of the prestigeness, or the prestigity, if you will, when, you know, the game is just kind of babying you and, like, holding your hand. I think that kind of makes it lame. I think, yeah, so, like, as much as I like Iron Man mode, I think it's kind of lost a bit of its, like, flair, or a bit of its, like, prestige, and to me that matters. You know, it might be lame, but I find it, you know, makes me happy when I see that my account is, you know, ranked amongst a couple of, only a handful of thousand of elite other gamers. It feels really good. And, yeah, that might be like a weird take, but to me, this game mode is really appealing. It's really nomadic. I think it gets a bad rep because people assume it's going to take a really long time. But honestly, a lot of my training in terms of EHP and XP per hour is right on par with main accounts. In fact, Hebox Jung managed to max in Ultimate Iron Man in 2025 and beat the 2020 main max speed run time. Like, think about that. In 2024, you can max an Ultimate Iron Man faster than somebody maxed a main during COVID era. That is crazy. And that's just because of, like, Guardians of the Rift and new prayer training methods and, like, you know, all these new things that have catered to Iron Man that have come out in the last couple of years, right? And so I think... Oh, that's gonna hurt. Yeah, I think people overestimate how hard an Ultimate Iron Man is. It's not excruciatingly slow in the ways that a lot of people make it out to be. It's actually very fun and rewarding and nomadic and relaxing. But for whatever reason, people give it this rep where it's like... Yeah, I don't even know how to, like, really fully explain it, but I feel like UIM gets this bad rep for being too long or too sweaty, or you need, like, max autism to even play this game mode. When the reality is it's the most relaxing form of old school RuneScape I've ever played. Like, it is so chill. But the fact that every time I log in, I have a plan feels really, really good. Let's do a little spin. A little raspberry. Never lucky. Okay, third kill of the session. Never lucky. I believe it was Gandhi that said, insanity is doing the corrupt gauntlet 1,000 fucking times and expecting something to change. But no, you're just a clown. Or something along those lines. Don't quote me. Chest number 4 for the night. No luggy. Fifth kill of the day. Okay, we got an elite clue. For the first while, I was just stacking these until I had like 2 or 3 so that I could actually get one done. But now I actually have most of the elite steps unlocked, so let's go ahead and just see if this first step is doable. May as well take a trip to the Ferox while we do and bag some stuff. So yeah, dude, it's kind of a scuffed update, not gonna lie. I think they rushed it, and the players are suffering the consequences. Which is like, yeah, that's in theory, it's nice, you get a better catch rate, but it means they deplete sooner. So with trawling, as you make upgrades, your AFK time goes down. Wilderness step, I don't really feel like doing any wilderness steps right now, so I'm just gonna drop this. But yeah, it's very strange to me that as you level the skill, you're kind of punished. Like as you level up your boat with a better net and all that, and like a bait table, it lowers how long you can AFK for and makes the activity more miserable, which shouldn't be the case. Getting upgrades on your account should make like any activity feel more enjoyable. It shouldn't make it more miserable. But for whatever reason, yeah. And then there's just a ton of other ways I think they could have like implemented sailing into the game a little bit more, just so that it was more cohesive. Like, I know it would be a lot of work, but they have to go back and retroactively change quests. Like, they have to. It doesn't make sense that they're gonna add a skill and then ignore all the quests that have sailing in the quest. Like, there are literally quests where you go on a boat and load up a cannon with cannonballs and clean it up. That needs to be changed, because new players playing the game who play that quest are gonna be like, why the fuck does this not look anything like sailing? And then when they go to their boat, they're gonna have no idea. Like, they're gonna use their boat cannon and pandemonium or whatever, and then they're gonna go and do this quest, and they're gonna have no idea how this fucking quest cannon works, as they shouldn't, because like it's completely different than what exists. Or like in Dragon Slayer, the whole lore of Dragon Slayer is you buy an old Crandorian boat whose hull is supposedly supposed to stand up to the, you know, the harsh waters of Crandor, and yet Ned, who's a, you know, seaworthy sailor, crashes the boat right away. Okay, and then your boat is abandoned there. Why can't you reclaim that? I spent 2K on a fucking Crandorian antique. I should be able to reclaim that the same way I can my other 2 boats. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many inconsistencies that already exist with sailing within the game that it doesn't make sense why they're not, like, going back and retroactively adding, like, fixing quests and adding quest recs. Like, honestly, like, Dragon Slayer should have a sailing rec. Honestly. Like, Dragon Slayer should have like a 20 sailing rec. It makes no sense that they're not going back and tweaking stuff. So I think this update was like really half-assed. I think they did a good job with the assets, and like the stuff looks really good. You know, the models look really good. The items look really good. The ships look great. It all feels very old schooly. But the actual mechanics of how it incorporates with the rest of the game is just not there. Like, it does not tie into any other skill cohesively, except you get a little bit of construction XP here and there. Yeah. Alright, 7th kill of the night. Alright, just 1218. Alright, man. 12:19. Kind of having trouble finding a low ping world right now. Every time I hop to try and find a stable world, it kind of looks like this. Not really sure what to do right now. I might try and hop around for some crystal imps, for some ranar seeds. I ain't gonna lie, I was really hoping we get a little bit of like YouTube luck now that I started recording. I was feeling optimistic today. But alas, this is the KC we are ending on. 12:20 for today. Still no enhanced seed. Feels good, dude. I think I'm gonna finish fletching up these bolts, and maybe I'll go do a few laps of agility while I do that. And then I don't know. Maybe I'll do some winter Todd. Just try and round up to 80. I've been chipping away at that. Yeah, I genuinely do not know.
It became important. When it boiled down to the music, even if I didn't touch it, I showed you what to do. So that's what he was. That whole bad boy was built on him. You cannot take that from him. But I think that puppy wanted the light that he always wanted. From dancing the whole night, you see anybody that's boasters and loud like that, they want to be in the spotlight. It wasn't like no secret, that's what he wanted.
6'3", 335 pounds.
Okay, so yeah, that's kind of my progress for today's video. I got 10 more gauntlet kills, I got a couple barrows KC, still no items on either, and I got 80 firemaking with some winter Todd, as well as finished up that fletching grind with those broad bolts. So yeah, I mean, I would expect that most of the videos are going to be pretty boring like this with not too much updates, but that's kind of the reality of playing like the most restricted and difficult game mode, is there's going to be a lot of time between like significant upgrades, especially when you go super dry at every piece of content you're grinding. But yeah, on the bright side, we've got 124 rewards stashed up in the cart here, and I think I'm going to wait until level 99 to actually search the cart, as well as wait till I have a bit more bag space to actually hang on to some of those extra seeds. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please make sure to hit the like button. Every little bit helps, especially as a new content creator. I'm really fighting the algorithm here to try and get my videos out. So you know, if you can show some support by commenting, liking the video, subscribe if you like it, that'd be great. If not, hey man, no hard feelings. Hope you enjoy your day, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.